Joe Rogan has reacted to the chaos surrounding Ilia Topuria and his wife. And according to people close to the situation, things are only getting more intense by the day.
Publicly, there's like a divorce.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's taking photos with rappers and shit, putting it on Instagram.
No.
Yeah. They try to
Put a fucking knife right in your spirit.
This is the mother of your children, and this lady is a monster. There's a lot of ladies like that because you hooked up with a guy who's an incredibly special human being. You not just a UFC world champion, but a 2-division world champion superstar who the whole world wants to see, and you're his wife. So you're like, oh, look at me. And then he doesn't want to be with you anymore. Well, I'm gonna take you down. Reputation destruction. That's what they really are experts in.
Damn. Who says you can't meet your wife in Miami?
You can find your wife in any place in the world.
You hear that? Put that on Only in Date on Instagram. You can meet your wife in Miami.
All right, let's roll.
Put it on Only in Date is hilarious.
Everywhere. But why are you saying that?
Huh?
Why are you saying that?
Everyone says that.
Because you go to the party and this is the only place
Yeah.
you see. But you don't know the another part of Miami of people that just they want.
They're normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But
We
best
need
place
see
to
that
work
side.
out too, Miami, because you can just walk outside and run the water.
You know what that means? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody that knows to say something that triggers. They see your face is saying something though.
I think the only person is my wife, probably. She's the only person. No one else, I think.
Seriously.
I think so.
That's very good.
Yeah.
You know, because you know that is a big strength of a lot of great ones were like that. Some of it wanted it. Some people wanted it. Like Michael Jordan's was he wanted you to say something to him.
Yeah.
And then he would convince himself that you said something about him really bad. And then he wanted to kill you. That's what Michael would talk about. You know?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he was playing basketball.
Right.
And I have enough of that energy that I wanna go in and take it.
Started as a private issue has exploded into a major UFC controversy. Reports of Ilia Topuria's divorce and legal disputes have forced him away from the octagon, turning personal chaos into a situation that could reshape an entire division.
Dig into this. I guess I misunderstood. Ilia Topuria made headlines. My belief through the headlines is that Ilia was walking away from the UFC championship belt, thus elevating Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett to undisputed title. Now, once I dug into this, I can't quite recall why I thought it in the first place. I mean, once I dug into it, there was nothing in the article that said that Paddy and Justin was going to be undisputed or that the UFC was accepting or that Ilia was surrendering a belt back. And I was talking with Daniel Cormier. Daniel's always got the inside scoop. Say, hey, Daniel, you just got back from calling this event. What is going on there? Is Justin and Paddy moved up? And Daniel said no. He said that essentially in all of these articles and all of these news waves that have now just come out on Ilia Topuria, it's repackaging what we already knew. It was Ilia coming in front of this thing and saying, hey, I'm dealing with some big stresses in my personal life, and one of the great concerns that I have is that there's going to be a claim made against me for domestic violence, and I'm sitting here and I'm just waiting for this shoe to drop. And until it does, and until I can deal with that, try to work my own personal things back into order, I won't be competing. Now, I think a lot of you are going to hear what I just said and go, hey, Chael, you're 2 weeks late on the story. No, that is the story. The story is that this made headlines for something that we were already told a couple of weeks ago, and there is no escalation from that, meaning Ilia Topuria is not vanquishing or having stripped from him.
Ilia Topuria vacating the belt didn't come out of nowhere. Insiders say the mental strain of the lawsuit, court dates, legal obligations, and non-stop media pressure made it impossible to prepare at a championship level. For a fighter known for discipline and control, Losing stability outside the cage can derail everything.
Some news regarding Ilia Topuria, because I do think that as of this morning, it's probably the biggest news of the day. So obviously by now, you know that he is not fighting on January 24th. You know that he is taking a bit of a break. You know that there's an interim title on the line at UFC 324. You know all that stuff and more. Well, over the weekend, he spoke to ESPN Deportes. I want to play those two clips in a moment, but I want to start with the new news first, if you will, because he posted on Instagram this morning an update on his status, and he also discussed what he's been going through. And I think it's worth reading because this is the most he has said about all of this. Over the past several weeks, I've made the difficult decision to temporarily step away from defending my title. This was not a decision I took lightly. However, when circumstances arise that threaten your personal integrity, your family, and your reputation, there comes a point when you must address them directly. In recent months, I have been subjected to severe and unacceptable pressure, including threats to disseminate false allegations of domestic abuse unless financial demands were met. These allegations are entirely unfounded. The truth is not a matter of opinion, it is a matter of evidence. All relevant evidence has been carefully preserved and documented, including audio recordings, written communications, witness statements, and video material. This evidence has been submitted to appropriate judicial authorities in order to pursue legal action for attempted extortion, falsification of evidence, misappropriation of funds and personal property, and multiple threats. My initial decision to remain silent was made solely to protect my children, who are the most important part of my life. However, I've come to understand that silence under these circumstances does not protect the truth. It allows false narratives to take hold. Many individuals have faced similar situations, and time and again, the legal system has ultimately clarified the facts. Today, I'm stepping forward not only for my family and myself, but also to demonstrate that no one should be forced to yield to intimidation, manipulation, or fear. Those who know me can attest that I have never engaged in violence of any kind, and that my life and career have always been guided by discipline, respect, and integrity. I have full confidence in the judicial process and will allow the legal system to determine the facts based on evidence. Out of respect for my children and the ongoing legal proceedings, I will not be making any further public statements. I respectfully ask that speculation be avoided and that my family's privacy be honored during this sensitive time. The truth does not require volume, it requires facts. Thank you, Ilia Topuria. So that is heavy duty stuff. Obviously, we knew that he was going through some personal issues and there's rumors online, and I didn't want to partake in any of those. I had not heard any of this.
Did Ilia Topuria and his wife break up? Like, seriously, I'm actually so upset about this. Honestly, I hate when good-looking couples split up. Ilia Topuria and his wife Georgina look like such a power couple together, and if this is true, this would be so shocking.
We already dreamed this so many times. We always say that you have to see things before they happen.
Another dream come true.
But what if it's true? What will this mean for Ilia Topuria's perfect 17-0 MMA record? And you know what they say, behind every successful man is an even better woman. Anyway, everyone's going on about this awkward Nelk Boys video with Ilia Topuria. So
fans are divided. Some believe Topuria made the right call by stepping away to protect his mental health, while others see it as the start of a collapse. Arguing champions are meant to fight through adversity. The debate alone has turned him into one of the most talked about names in MMA overnight. Timing only adds fuel. Topuria was undefeated, feared, and peaking as the face of his division. And now the belt is gone and the UFC is scrambling. But those close to him say this hasn't weakened him. It's sharpened him. And when he returns, he may come back driven by anger, heartbreak, and something to prove.
Any of these allegations or rumors, innuendo, any of that. And so you can understand even more so why he would want to step away and not focus on fighting or defending his title, because obviously there's a lot going on. It's extremely sad. It's, I feel for everyone involved. I feel for his family. I feel for his kids. It's an awful situation. And so let's see what happens. Let's see what becomes of it. And let's see when we can see him back in there. As of now, there's no real timeline set in place. He spoke to ESPN Deportes about that, about his decision to walk away. Here's what he had to say, and I'll read the subtitles for you in case you're just listening to the audio. Finally, Ilia, because what the public wants to know, you announced not the first quarter, that you'll fight in January. When would you like to fight? When you feel it's time to return? Well, Ilia says, as I've communicated, I'm going through some personal problems. I do not have an exact date when everything will be fixed. I hope that as soon as possible, as soon as it is solved, I will be ready to go back. In the octagon, I prioritize at this time the welfare of my family, of my children, my own. So as soon as everything is solved, I will be back to the octagon to give it the show that everyone deserves. He's then asked if he's going to be there. We are making decisions at this time, whether I'll make the trip on January 24th, but I hope so. I hope so. So that's what he had to say to ESPN Deportes on Saturday. At his own event, WOW FC, I believe that was in Madrid. Interestingly enough, PT alerted me of this. It was actually streaming on Cristiano Ronaldo's YouTube page. So great, publicity. He's now teamed up with them, and they're trying to do big things over in Spain. He was also asked, by the way, how the UFC was handling the situation and the kind of support that they were giving to him. Here's what he had to say. I think a lot of people were surprised that you were not fighting in the first quarter, at least. But how is it with the UFC? Are they understanding? Because obviously all the fighters can go through problems such as what you are going through. How understanding was Hunter and the other people involved? The truth is, Ilia says they have been excellent. We have a special connection. I have understanding without having to give a lot of explanation, understanding from them. From the very first moment, they have extended their hand. I have been offered their support in any time I needed it. So I don't really know. I'm very happy for the support I've received from them, for the understanding, and also happy about the steps that they have to take. It has obviously been a conversation we have had, and as a promoter now that I have the experience, I also have the experience of going through this part of the sport as a promoter and not only as a fighter. I understand in many, many more ways that perhaps. So I am very happy, to be honest, because of the relationship that I'm starting to have with the UFC. And for the understanding that they have had with me. So there you have it. He is very happy with the sport. He did also say that he wants to finish his MMA story and then go into boxing, but that's a lot of steps away.
Actually, all of these articles going around, all of these stories you're going around, you're hearing about Ilia Topuria have no direct tying to Paddy the Baddy and Justin Gaethje. I get where this is confusing. I even asked Daniel that. I said, hey man, what am I missing? I get the severity. I get that we don't want to lighten up a personal topic. And when domestic violence is thrown in there, I get that we don't want to do that. I thought we dealt with this a couple of weeks ago. Is there about to be a legal charge? Is there about to be an investigation? Is there something new coming from this? And the answer was no. But it's got Ilia in a panic. So I start reading these articles. I start going through them all. I'm going, man, these headlines are very misleading. Let me get to the bottom of it. And Ilia does at some point make that statement, which is, I knew that this was going to come out. I thought staying quiet was a way to deal with it. But I've now learned when you're quiet in the world of PR, it gives fuel to flames of false narratives. So I'm going to come out and I'm going to let you know that I am expecting sooner or later an accusation to be made about domestic violence. What do we do with the interim belt? I mean, I feel awful for Ilia Topuria, but not having heard any of this story, not having Ilia said that or getting Daniel to explain it to me or taking my time and going back and reading through the articles so that I come to you guys and I don't misspeak. Absent of any of that, I would have been able to tell you if it was in fact a...
History shows that fighters who return from personal collapse often come back more dangerous than ever. Betrayal, public scrutiny, legal battles, and a stripped title don't fade quietly, they fuel something deeper. Joe Rogan has often said, emotional turmoil can either break a fighter or unlock a new level of focus. And Topuria seems like the type who turns chaos into motivation. storming back through the division to reclaim what he believes was taken from.
With that beautiful girl that pops up on camera as Ilia's headed to the ring, that a claim of domestic violence was going to be involved. I don't attempt to sound cynical in the least. I could have told you the day that the rumors came out that it was a personal something involving her and him, that the words domestic violence were going to get attached to it. I was a little bit more surprised when Ilia came out and got in front of him and says, hey, I can't take this anymore. I'm losing sleep at night over this. Let's rip this Band-Aid off. These words, domestic violence, these words are going to get associated with me. The whole world kind of had my reaction. The whole world kind of had my reaction where they're going, wait, did that not already happen? We've made it this far. We've made it this many weeks into what we've known from Jump Street as a personal dispute with the two of you. We wish you and your family the best, but you're telling me we've made it this far and those words haven't come out yet? That's a surprise to me. I would have assumed that they had. And can we now set that as uncomfortable as that topic apparently is, and I don't love it much more, that can we just set that over here because we have a different issue, which is the career and the fighting career of Ilia Topuria. Because there have been some rather strange things that have happened to him as of late. I mean, the number one contender for his belt, Arman Tsarukyan, ends up not getting a shot at the belt, has to go out and do another fight, which officially gets named the number one contender's fight, of which Tsarukyan wins, but he is not fighting for the belt. Paddy the Baddy versus Justin Gaethje are going to go ahead and fight. Though I don't know if either one of them has ever asked to fight the other, as much as they just wanted the opportunity and the idea of fighting, of which I'm good with. And somewhere along the way, Islam Makhachev, for beating Jack Del Maddalena, skips over Ilia Topuria in the pound-for-pound rankings, and nobody's acting like that.
Fans are already calling this one of the most insane comeback arcs the UFC has seen in years. The question isn't if Ilia Topuria will return, but when. Some insiders believe the legal situation could be resolved in months, while others warn it may take much longer and the longer he's gone. The bigger and more mythic his return becomes.
Who do you think wins if Islam and Topuria fight?
I hope it's gonna happen. It's gonna be a tough fight for Ilia, for sure. Ilia make you either shoot him, which is he will stop, or no, Islam has to strike with him, and in striking we all know how Ilia fights and how dangerous he is and how knockout power he have. So it's gonna be a tough fight for Ilia for sure, like every fight is, but I believe he can finish Islam Makhachev.
Ilia moving up to lightweight. Is it safe to say that Ilia Islam is the fight that we're sort of working toward?
There's still other possibilities. There's a lot of shit going on right now.
Did he vacate the belt, or did you guys say we don't want to hold up the featherweight division?
No, he did that. He said, I've done everything I can do here. I'm ready to move up, and he vacated it. I respect when guys do that.
Do you feel that if the UFC gives this fight to Paddy the Baddy, do you think that's the right thing?
It's a mess right now at 155 pounds. It's very difficult to say, Paddy Pimblett, you're next up, when you haven't fought Arman Tsarukyan, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira. I understand Arman weighed in as a backup. I gave you a shot for you to weigh in. You don't make weight. That doesn't make a company very, very happy. And can that company trust you? Who's done more than Justin Gaethje as far as favors for the UFC?
That's not realistic, bro. The UFC moves on, bro. This is how you matchmake it. It does have to be Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett, and you do have to be fair. Give it to Arman. Arman does deserve that shot, bro.
When a champion disappears like this, the sport doesn't move on, it waits. And when Ilia Topuria finally steps back into the octagon, carrying the weight of public battles and a vacated crown, it won't feel like just another comeback. Fight.